Hey, this is Granddad Stories for Gwen, Episode 2. Last time, we looked at this book, The History of Stark County, Illinois, whose county seat is in Toulon, which is where my parents were married and grew up. Okay, in this book, page 174, it talks about another book, The History of the 112th Regiment Illinois Volunteer Infantry. Said, written by Captain Thompson, treats his subject exhaustively and well, so thoroughly that his comrades say we have no more to learn, it is all there. Boy, that'd be a real interesting book, full of little stories that you don't get in the other history books, because these amateur authors tended to put everything in. So where are you going to get a book? It's 128 years old. Oh, here it is. On page 17, there's somebody who, the author was serious, but it's still pretty funny. I noticed this too, missing this edge of the book. It's over a century and a quarter old. But he's talking about mules, and I'm not sure I've ever seen a mule, but there were 1,000,000 mules that died during the Civil War, and this guy thought highly of them. He writes, "A mule is a mule the world over, but there is no mule like a government mule. His kick is like a stroke of lightning from a clear sky, and then the malicious brute will appear so meek and penitent and wear such an innocent, injured look about him that one can hardly comprehend that the lightning blow that laid him out came on the heels of such an honest-looking animal. The mule was an important factor in the prosecution of the war. He deserves credit for his patriotic devotion to the Union, and for his unflagging zeal, his patient endurance, and his untiring services in behalf of the Union armies. The government armies were fed and clothed and supplied with arms and ammunition, and hospital stores drawn in many cases hundreds of miles over rough and hilly roads, through narrow mountain passes, by the ever-ready, ever-willing, hardy, patient government mule. Even the brand upon his shoulder, U.S., indicated his amiability and kindly disposition, and enduring the war, every highway and byway in the South bore testimony in the mule's self-sacrifices to his country. The air was thick with evidence of his unselfish devotion to the Union armies." You don't need to be a veterinarian to know mules aren't quite that sophisticated. So there are many, because this amateur author was so inclusive, there are lots of names, family history, little adventures, sometimes one or two men going off, little details of the war that are real insightful, but not present and famous authored and sold stories of the war. For instance, in here they talk about marching through an area of Tennessee, that was so isolated that the residents didn't know there was a war going on, even though it was about a year into it. So when you can find these books, they have an awful lot of information, and if you haven't, and names, places, Lots of nice detail. Well, see you next time on Granddad's Stories for Gwen.